Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 3rd, 2022 at approximately 3:44 a.m. PST. Well, got the time nicely scrambled. Anyway, that's what I get for getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, we are moving forward. The office is set up. I managed to pick up the extra power converter, so I now have my 3 monitors back. Nice way to start the day, to start the year off. I've now got to find the office organized properly, which is extremely important. I've now started also working on the third installment, aka the final book in the final trilogy of the Yldrbac Chronicles. This little critter here is one of the first critters. This is as you can see, at least I think you can see, that is a two-headed giant, also known as an apple. This thing is one of the beasts that's coming back from the past into the final battle in the Yldrbac Chronicles, which is the story I'm writing at this point. But what I've taken to doing is the different figures I can get, just from a representative standpoint. I'm starting to assign them to different characters I've got. Now, I've got about 400 of these figures, roughly speaking. So, again, well, that worked out well. So, we take a look at where your life is. We know you've got to start with the energy yourself. And I covered yesterday how to get that energy running properly again in order to get your body back on track. Now, how to get the office running? Well, first and foremost, take a look at your office. Make sure the energy in it is running right, that it's laid out in a way that is convenient for you. Okay, now I've got the monitors I need. The neat part about it, from my standpoint, is I run out of screen space. Okay, so set your computer up or set your writing table up so that you've got room to write. Okay, because when you're running an office, whether it's done on computer or on paper, you still have to track what you're up to. So, of course, while I'm talking to you, I'm doing the rather annoying thing and opening up files that I'm going to require to make sure I stay right on top of the financial side. Kind of an important thing when you think about the fact that if you don't run your finances in your house properly, you're not going to make headway. You're going to find yourself behind the 8 ball. Now, I've gone over this a number of times of what I've done wrong. What I'm doing at this point is I know how much money it's going to take me. Now I'm setting things up to know exactly how much I'm spending, so on any given day, I can glance at one sheet of paper and go, this is what I've got running. And that, in and of itself, is going to be the difference between getting ahead and falling behind. Same will apply for you. Figure out what it costs you to run your business, run your home. If you happen to live if you happen to work from home, it's just as important. You still have to keep the two financial sets separate. Don't make the mistake of trying to run them in one set of books and sort it out from there. Now, again, if you know how to track your finances, that's great. If not, talk to somebody that does. Okay, extremely important that you do this, because if you don't keep an eye on it, you will run into troubles. Okay, for me personally, it's become a bit of an obsession to make sure I get on track because of the mistakes I've made in the past. Now, understand, you cannot change the past. By the way, if you like the videos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that little alert button to let yourself know when the next one comes out. Because I do try and get these out once a day. But they are live recordings, meaning when I get done with the recording, I double check to make sure I got the date right. And then I turn around and post it as is with any glitches, any hiccups, doesn't matter. It's just the way I figure it is this. If I'm going to say I'm not perfect, the reality is why edit? Why turn around and change it so it looks like I did a fantastic job if I didn't? Okay, I'm not perfect by any stretch, and I'm laying odds that there's not a one of you out there that is. Although I also know there are some of you out there that think you are. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very important to have confidence in yourself. But there is a very big difference between being confident and being cocky. And if you're making the mistake of being cocky, you could run into some pretty serious problems. Now, at this stage, one of the important factors that you have to look at is where are you standing? How much money do you require to run your household? Food, rent, actually it should be in order of priority. You've got to get your rent paid. You've got to keep your utilities up to running. Then you need food. Then you deal with the incidentals, things like your credit cards. And by the way, if you don't keep on top of your credit cards, you will lose them. And you can't blame them. I'm a firm believer our credit cards convenient, certainly, especially in today's world when trying to shop online. Okay, which quite frankly, much as I'm not good at it, it saves me the hassle of leaving the house. Speaking of which, I'll look into that soon. But you've got to stay on top of the utilities, and with that in mind, you might want to lump your credit cards into your utilities. They are an operating tool that you are going to require month to month. Whether it's a credit card, a line of credit, it doesn't matter. But lump it together with your utilities so you're keeping on top of the minimum payments, at the very least. Ideally, where it comes to credit cards. Okay, take your credit card, figure out what the limit is. Never go above 10% of what is available. Now, this means if you've got a $500 credit limit on your credit card, never spend more than $50 on it without paying it off. Okay. The reason for that is you don't, putting the credit in letting the interest grow on credit cards is absolutely a bad idea. So you've got to stay on top of that. But I'll tell you, in my opinion, and I am no financial advisor to speak of, like I'm certainly not trained on it. And you take a look at my finances, it's not necessarily a great idea. But the way I look at it at this point, if you've got one credit card that has a $5,000 credit limit, that's fantastic. But okay, or let's say it's got only a $500 credit limit. Okay, one credit card is all you really require in order to function in today's world. If you've got one credit card where you've got $5,000 credit, that's great. But it's better if you've got 4 credit cards with only $1,000 credit if you're keeping up with the payments, if you're keeping them clear. The reason I say it's better is because if you've got one with 5, you've got one person, one company that says, yeah, we'll trust you with our money. If you've got 5 people that are doing the same, if you've got 5 cards, you've got 5 companies saying, we'll trust you with your money. It looks better from that standpoint. Now talk to your own financial advisors. I am not a financial advisor. All I can do is tell you the tools I personally use and whether they work for me. But talk to the financial advisors. This is why you'll never find me saying invest in such and such. I don't know the market well enough. I simply know that if you track what you're doing with your money, you'll be able to stay on top of the game. And that will keep you out of trouble. So you figure out what it's going to cost for your rent or mortgage, your utilities including credit cards, your entertainment, your savings, your food. Figure all that out. That's the thing that you want to track and see what you're spending. in order to stay on top of it. Now, don't forget, if you're using credit cards to buy your food, you've got to track it on two fronts. One, how much money is going into the credit card, and two, how much money you're spending on your food. In other words, keep an idea, even if it's a credit card you're using to pay for, keep an idea of how much money you're spending on what product, on what branch or what category of finance you're using. By doing that, you can keep your finances in order and your office will run smoothly. The neat part is that the office is the backbone of the household. It's not the backbone of the home. The backbone of the home is your kitchen, the kitchen and dining room. That is where the backbone of your home is, and that's what you've got to stay focused on there. But we get the office in order. Now you've got the money, you know what you're doing with it, you know what it's going to cost you. That's your target, and you're aiming to bring that down as low as you can get. And by the way, there's a neat concept. If you don't have the money to make it through the month, most people say cut back, cut back, cut back. That's cute, but there comes a point where you can no longer cut back. So I'm a firm believer, if you don't have the money you desire to have in your life, yes, absolutely cut back where you have to or where you can. But instead of always looking at how do I cut back and do without, take a look and find a new way to expand or to enhance your income. Okay. But remember, there is a point of diminishing returns. If you're working 7 days a week, you're working too much. You still require, and everybody requires, 2 days back to back every week to not be at work. Now, I will tell you from practical experience, you may run into a problem because you're working 5 days a week for somebody else. You know, if you've got a business and a career, you got 5 days a week for somebody else, and then you've got your own career, your own business. So you may find periodically you're working 7 days a week. Now, I didn't do a whole lot over the Christmas holidays. I didn't do a whole lot of work on either work or business, or my business. But I got looking at it and went, yeah, that was actually necessary. So I think next year, right, for 2022, so I guess that's this year, for 2022, I'm seriously looking at taking a week and just going, I'm not working that week. Just shut down the work on the business, shut down the work on the writing, shut down the work on work, and just take a full week off and do nothing of that kind. I'm seriously considering it. I don't know how well that'll work yet. It really boils down to how well I organize. But you get the financial area, wherever you're working on your books, get that straightened out. Make sure that's tracking properly. Then you turn around and you go to your kitchen and you make sure it's set up properly. Therefore, you'll have the backbone of your house and the backbone of your home taken care of. Okay, this is a year that is extremely important for people to discard the stuff they no longer like. And by the way, I do have to make a correction. I thought I didn't actually read the article quite right, where it came to what they're doing down in San Diego, according to what I read on Facebook, and you can trust that as little as I do if you'd like. But apparently the law stated that grocers and other food supply places are now required by law to take their edible surplus and turn it over to whatever, to the food banks, to the front line, to the emergency support crews, to donate their surplus edible foods to these people. Now, needless to say, at least I hope it's needless, that means a lot of the perishable food that was going to the dump will now go to places instead of the dump. Okay, now if you've got a surplus in canned food, it'll keep for a lot longer than the perishable goods anyway. Hopefully, that same law will carry on up here in Canada. I don't know if they've got it here yet or not. I haven't heard. Of course, I don't watch the news, I don't listen to the news, and I don't read the news, so that might be a little bit of a hindrance. But I'm hoping that's where it goes. Okay, I've started calculating things out, and today one of my big jobs is to take a look at the finances that I've got and see how much I know I broke. I know I broke the limit that I desired to make. Actually, I think I could check that right now. Where are we here? If I go minimum, let's carry forward. Nope, that's not what I need. I need the other file open. Funny part about it, from my standpoint, it's pretty simple. I look at it going, there we are. I look at it going, what did I deal with? Now, if I look at that, last month, last month, over the 2,400 that I required, over the 2,500, I've got about $1,400 from last month that I've got to take. Now, $1,400 is not much. It means for last month, what I've got to do is take $140, which is 10% of that, and put it aside. Okay, for the fall. I'd hit a goal. I'd hit a goal for the goal I had put for myself was to make the goal I had that I made. Well, there we are. Was to make $3,300. Now remember, I told you, for me personally, I require $2,500 to run my house. Well, I made 34, meaning I ended up making $1,000 more than what was required. So yeah, it's not 140; it's only 100. I've got to take $100 and set that aside into its own account for distribution this fall. Okay, now what that translates into right now to those 12 packets, that's only $8. But now I will start adding to it. Okay, and I will start pushing the income levels. But that's my way of working with it. And it's a method that does work, and it's one I do recommend you use. Okay, because it does accommodate putting savings aside for later. I'm putting savings aside, helping with the starving people around the world without paying for an incredible amount of overhead. With my company, it absorbs the overhead because it's part of the cost of running a company, in my opinion. We don't just take care of our own pocket. You've got to take care of the people that are lacking. And I'm not talking about the ones that are burning out their money by, that are not making the effort to break away from habits. Like there was a gentleman I ran into on the street one day that was an absolute alcoholic. Did I help him with money after he told me that he was going to drink it? Certainly. But you got to realize, well, you don't have to do what you will with it. From my standpoint, he was honest with me and told me that was what was going to happen. Of course, before he told me that, he also told me, and you could tell he was being honest, that he had already been through the AA program 3 times, and he was scheduled to go back in a couple of days. So, did I help him or hinder him? Your call. Okay, certainly. But it was because he was being honest and was making the effort to correct. Now, people will fall, and when they fall, they're going to need a hand to get up again. You may be in the same boat. You may have fallen again. You may be looking in the mirror and going, why am I always tripping over this? Why am I always stumbling? More often than not, it's mindset. Whether you believe you're going to continue faltering or you believe you're not, in either event, you're going to end up proving yourself right. Now, there is an old saying that goes, man is judged by the heights to which he climbs. In reality, it really should be looked at, in my opinion, that man is judged by the height to which he climbs from the depth at which he started. Meaning, if you're starting today and you're deep in debt, and you manage to get $1,000 into the bank by the end of the year, you've done really well. Okay, let's say you start off the year and you're $1,000 behind, and by the end of the year, you manage to get you manage to get flush. Okay, you may look at your bank account and go, I just don't have anything. But compare it to what you had. Okay, compare it to where you were standing before, and you'll find that you actually have done very well. Therefore, if you go from 1,000 in the hole to flush, okay, you've climbed $1,000. Now, if somebody else starts the year off at flush, and only makes $100, so they've got $100 in their bank instead. Okay, they've got $100 more in their bank than you have in yours. Who actually made the better headway? In my opinion, the person that started 1,000 in the hole and got flush did far better than the person that started flush and only got $100 above. Don't know if that makes sense, but it's a matter of perspective to see whether or not you're actually making any headway. Now, this funny little thing here, also known as credit card, okay, this thing I've got to deal with, okay, and get it renewed. This one's actually expired by the end of this month, but I've already got the replacement card, so I've just got to get it sorted around. For me, the idea is to really get the finances running right. Now, on top of that, okay, so I've got my finances, I know where I'm standing. I've got to put $100 aside right off the bat, and I'll have to wait. I don't know if I've got the actual income in my bank. Actually, I think I do. Let me just see something here. That's 2022. Okay, if we look at that, yeah, I can go to my bank, pull $100 out, put it aside. Okay, and have that $100 already set aside for the fall. So I will do that as soon as I start taking care of the money. I've got the ability to do it, so it will be moved out of the way. And by doing that, I'll be able to get ahead. Okay, I'll be able to start making headway. But it's going to take a concerted effort, and finances always do. So you got the office all worked out. Get the kitchen brought up to speed so that it's not a question of whether you're the best housekeeper or not. It's a question of you get the room sorted out so that they are running smoothly. So if somebody does drop by, if you decide you're going to invite somebody over, you don't have to worry about whether the house is in good shape. And rest assured, being reclusive, my house is not always in the best of shape. As a matter of fact, it's seldom in the best shape. But is it one that I am functioning in? Yes. Of course, I'm the only one that has to function in it. Well, myself and my son. So you get that running smoothly. Make sure you're taking a look in the mirror at yourself and go, am I content with me? If the answer is yes, that's fantastic. Okay, I find most people usually aren't. A staggering number of people will go, I'm really happy with the way my life is. But you watch their behavior. They're argumentative, they're depressed, they're angry. This is not the sign of a happy mind. Okay, so I've got the finances working. I'm now working. I've gotten into a swing again, writing the Return to Paradise, which will be a book I'm aiming at getting finished before the end of this year, and getting written, getting published sometime in 2023. Because of course, once I get it written, then I've got to go through and I've got to expand it and get it edited. So the way that works is once I get it written, then I start going through and expanding it, and as I get it expanded, I will turn around and start on the editing side. In the meantime, we're working on editing on re-editing for the second printing because I found some problems with the birth of the Wolfpack. So I'm going back through it one step at a time to get it cleared up and make headway with it. Okay, very important from my standpoint. Because when you've got a project in mind, if it's a huge project, break it down into smaller tasks. Okay, keep track of what you're doing in order to stay on top of things. If you've put a project on hold because somebody else told you it wasn't good enough, okay, I'm urging you not to pay attention to them, but make sure you're not overextending yourself. In other words, if whatever you're trying to do is costing you more money than you can afford it to cost, it may be time to look at something else. Now I look at the money I sink into printing, into editing, into the pictures I'm getting made for the books. I look at that money and I go, okay, this is what it's costing me. Am I content with it? Well, let's face it. I don't drink. I had 3 drinks at New Year's, and I won't drink now until New Year's of next year, in all likelihood. Okay. So I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't go out to the movies, I don't gamble. So the fact I'm spending money on writing stuff, that's my entertainment side of things. Okay, one of the big expenses I'm going to be using for entertainment this year is I will be buying a small computer just for gaming purposes, just for keeping track of the books for D&D. But that's me. That's where my entertainment goes. And like I said, entertainment is necessary for everybody. No matter how hard you work, you still have to have time to relax. Now, with that in mind, there's a lot going on, and I'm going to encourage you. This is one of the goals I've got for today, is pick 12 major projects that you desire to accomplish by the end of 2022. Write them down and start working towards writing them off. See how many you can get done. Okay, very necessary. Now, with this in mind, I'm going to bring this to a close. I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.